Good morning, people. It's Tuesday, December 12th. Hopefully everybody's having a great start to your day. It's a beautiful day in Milwaukee. And we have 2 team meetings left for the rest of the year. So this morning, we're going to give you a little bit of insights from your peers because there's been a lot going on, and learn from what it is that your peers are taking away from what they've been pouring into. Outside of that, then next week, I'm going to do a deep dive. I know I said I was going to do it this week, but there was a data delay. Next week is the last team meeting of the year for 2023, and then we'll take a few weeks off heading into the holidays and New Year's. I will take a deep dive into the current market of the moment, where we are, where we're headed, what's going on with pricing, what's going on with appreciation, what's going on with demand, what's going on with demographic data that you should be paying attention to as to why you should remain bullish in the industry that you work in. I will take a deep dive into all of that next week to wrap up the year for team meeting for 2023. Sound good? Beautiful. Mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. It's the core to who we are and what it is that we believe. And one of the things I want to recap just quickly is something that I think we don't speak on enough. And it's the reason why in which that we do what we do and why you partner with us is this. First and foremost, is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And I'll repeat that. Our mission and what it is that we do to serve you is to help you build a career worth having, a business worth owning, a life worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. Right? And for the last several weeks since the middle of November, I've challenged the group to whom much is expected, or to whom much is given, much is expected. And I think this aligns very much with what our mission statement is. And one of the things that I know I recapped this shortly last week in a emotional way. But one of the things I wanted to say to the group was, thank you, thank you, thank you. We closed out our United Way campaign last week, Tuesday. We raised $21,250 for the United Way that supports 72 partner organizations in southeastern Wisconsin across Milwaukee and Waukesha County. It was a 102% increase versus what we raised last year. I made a challenge to the group that I thought we could get over $20,000, and the group rose to the occasion. And part of the reason why in which I led with our mission statement was when you talk about a legacy worth leaving, the impact that we can have in leveraging our economies of scale that we have in southeastern Wisconsin can create a lasting impact on our communities of where it is that we work, live, and play. And so for that, I am incredibly grateful, incredibly appreciative for those of you that contributed to the United Way campaign this year in 2023. And as a recap, I know I mentioned this, I think it may have gotten lost in translation, but when you add the 21,000 that was contributed so far this year, to the United Way campaign, along with all the other philanthropic endeavors that we partake in southeastern Wisconsin as an organization, it brings our total philanthropic giving to right over $100,000 this year. So it's something that's it's near and dear to my heart, and something that I'm passionate for in the ways in which that we are continue to be an incredible organization, and we continue to be incredible citizens within our community and giving back. So guys, thank you for leaning in and giving back in a way in which that was meaningful to all of us. So thank you for that. Cool. With that, we have a handful of people to celebrate. So hang with me here as we celebrate some incredible folks who capped in the month of November. An incredible time of year to cap. Incredible time of year to cap. So first up, catch him if you can. Congrats to Marcus Auerbach for capping in the month of November. An incredible individual, really into cars, is incredible on the racetrack up at Road America. Marcus, congrats on capping in the month of November. Next up, Sal out over at Epic just got back from the Bourbon Trail, and this person has a bourbon collection that may rival anyone in southeastern Wisconsin. James Heffernan, congrats on capping in the month of November. Next up, an incredible person who someone I lean on to advice, has been done a lot of different things in her life, given back in a variety of different ways in the nonprofit world. Annie Jerzyk, congrats on capping in the month of November. Next up, an incredible woman, incredible mom, has 2 young kids, has a house flipping business, short-term rentals, is taking on a major project in Whitefish Bay. Kathleen Clausen, congrats on capping in the month of November. Now, another huge part of Marcus's team's success at On Point Realty. This woman is incredibly gifted, has absolutely taken this industry by storm. Very gifted with her hands. Her and her husband, who works at Milwaukee Electric Tool, have done a lot of projects. Casey Lopez, congrats on capping in the month of November. This person is going to need the raise very shortly, and I don't see him in person here in Tosa this morning, but Ethan Maston and his wife are about on the verge of having twins. It's a perfect time of year to be capping. Ethan Maston, congrats on capping in the month of November. Next up, this person poured into a group of about 115 people last week at the War Memorial. If you were there, it was an incredibly powerful way. She gave you 14 tips and tricks that you can close out the year with a closing to help you find a deal. Stephanie Minnick, congrats on capping in the month of November. Now, next person. Incredibly gifted person, really heartwarming soul, always giving back to others. She is one of the few people that when I've had an SOS emergency, she picked me up at 1 a.m. at Midway Airport, and we talked the whole way back. It was an incredible experience. Karen Spinty, congrats on capping in the month of November. Next up, there's a phrase that we use within our household. The standard is the standard. That's all I need to say. Congrats to Megan on capping in the month of November. Shit. If you don't know, it's my wife. Next up, incredible individual, really giving back, always giving thoughtful seeds to plant in people's brains, asks a ton of questions, has built a really, really nice business for him and himself, and he's grown a young family. Ross Treffert, congrats on capping in the month of November. Next up, out in Lake Country, another incredible person, really giving, always giving back, serves her clients at the highest level. Alicia, congrats on capping in the month of November. Now, talk about someone who always gives back, and there's a theme here, giving back, and wrapping our arms around our community. The lieutenant is always there for when you need her the most. Steph, congrats on capping in the month of November. Rounding out, we have a couple more. Next up, this person usually typically caps in 1 to 2 deals. Works in an incredibly high average price point, has a very high touch, high service first mentality, has been successful in a variety of different avenues. Congrats to Bruce.
Charlie, no one can hear you. I see you're still going and that you're on. You want to mute and unmute?
Yep. Thank you.
We missed everyone after Bruce Gallagher.
All right, here you go. I'll give you a quick recap. Ready? Here's the quick recap. Jason Roman, top 5 individual, just recently retired from GE Healthcare, poured into Bold last year, was able to find a way in which that he earned enough income to retire from his other job in order to go full time. Next up, Jordan Shelton just recently was married, came to KW about a year and a half ago, is building something very special. And lastly, Coco Wallach, an incredible testament to how you can build a business in two different places, not only in Lake Country, Wisconsin, but as well in Naples, Florida. Congrats to Coco on capping in the month of November. Kadi, appreciate you giving me a heads up. So here we go. Next up, a few organizational announcements to share with you. We've reworked some of the leadership team as of late. We've changed some roles and responsibilities, and in that time, we've been looking to hire incredible talent. And with that, we have a great announcement to make this morning that we have made the addition to Kim Gertis on our leadership team across southeastern Wisconsin. Kim will be working with Caitlin Britt in a variety of different ways in terms of agent onboarding, helping us deliver our value proposition to enhance the agent experience. Kim comes to us from 20 years in corporate America, spent the last 2 to 3 years in the residential real estate space, spent time at another brokerage, so has an interesting perspective of ways in which that other people run the business. And she, Mandy and I, we're in a hot pursuit of her to say, Kim, we think you have a lot to offer to our group and our community. And so with that, Kim started with our team last week as she transitions into a leadership role. And she'll be looking forward to connecting with a variety of you here over the next several weeks. So welcome, Kim, to the leadership team. Next up, if you moved in 2023, we'd love to know about it so that we can get you the information you need to help you write off as much of your taxes as possible. So if you moved in 2023, please let us know so that Jen can get you the information you need within a timely fashion in order for you to pay your taxes on time. Make sense? Beautiful. With that, I'm flipping it over to Lindsay Brannick, who's got a Tech Tuesday announcement all around paid ad campaigns and the advent of TikTok within your business.
Yeah, you gave away my announcement, Charlie. I wasn't going to do that until a few slides in, but anyway, so so I do get a lot of questions from agents. How do I build up my database? How do I get more contacts and leads into my database? You know, I've got all of the people that I know in there. I've got everyone from my phone. You know, how do I get to that 201 number? And the great thing about Command is that they have this platform in the paid ad campaigns where you can easily create any sort of ad campaign through the platform. And so they have the platforms integrated like Google, Facebook, and Instagram, where you can launch those different campaigns, and you can easily generate leads with a variety of different campaign types. So whether it's a single image, multi-image, or a multi-listing ad campaign, the great thing about this is that a few months ago, they completely revamped this paid ads experience. And you can now, it's got integrated AI technology to instantly generate your you know, more high performing headlines and body text for your listing ads. So you don't have to spend multiple minutes, hours going through and figuring out, okay, what should my headline be? What should my body text be for my ad campaign? What's going to capture people's attention? Well, the AI is going to help you do that. So you can go through and create a paid ad campaign within like a couple minutes within the platform. The great thing about it too is that it offers a flexible payment workflow and refund option. So if you need to cancel an ad, you're going to get refunded that money. You're going to be able to use it for any other ad campaign. And you can put in as much or as little as you want. You know, you don't have to go out and spend money on Zillow ads and pay a monthly fee. You go in, you decide what ad campaigns you want to run, how much money do you want to spend, how long do you want to run that ad campaign. So it's super flexible and affordable. And you've got two objectives. So you can either generate traffic to your social media pages, or you can generate leads directly back into your Command database where you can automatically tag them. You can automatically add them to a smart plan. So you can just have all of that automation running in the background so you're not spending the time doing it. Next slide, Charlie. So as you mentioned, TikTok is now available. So they released this about a week ago. There is now an additional ad campaign type for TikTok if you want to run TikTok ad campaigns through Command. what's really cool is that you do not need to have a TikTok account created or an account connection through Command in order to launch these types of ad campaigns. So these ads use a global KW ad account to power the ads, but it's going to drive all of that traffic back to your website or whatever landing page that you enter in for it. The daily minimum spend for these TikTok ads is about $26 per day. So just keep that in mind. And as you're going in and creating those ad campaigns, it's going to tell you that information as well. So it's not like this is a number that you need to remember, but just kind of keep that in mind. And same thing with those other Facebook and Instagram ads. You can set those lead settings for those leads that are funneling back into your database. So auto tagging, assigning to smart plans, and then also auto assigning to a lead route if you're on a team. So if you want to route those leads to specific team members or do a round robin, all of that's still available. But just keep in mind for those TikTok ads, all videos must have sound for the ad to get approved. So besides that and that daily spend, it's the same as any other Facebook, Instagram ad campaign that you're running through the platform. All right. And one other thing too, on the ad campaigns, we are doing a marketing mastermind this coming Thursday at 11 over Zoom. So if you're interested in learning more about how to run that new TikTok ad or just how to, run any sort of those different ad campaigns, we're doing a training on Zoom this Thursday all around it. And then just kind of reminding everybody, we have all of those holiday social media posts and email Spark plans. They're built, they're ready to go. If you scan that QR code, that's going to take you into our Google Drive folder with all of those images that you can grab and go, utilize, do whatever you want with them. And then the next slide, again, the social media, or I'm sorry, not social media, smart plans in Command. They're built out, ready to go. You don't have to make any edits to them. You can if you want, but you don't have to. They're done, ready to send. So if you want to schedule the rest of the holidays for this year, you can go in and send those emails out. And finally, if you need to kind of work on some additional touches for the rest of the year, I did add in an additional holiday cocktails 12 direct campaign, whether it's a postcard, social media post, or a email smart plan. If you want to grab that and utilize that and send to your database, those are now available. And then if you want to schedule something for January, ice skating rinks around Milwaukee are going to start opening up. So that is available as well. So a couple new ones, you guys, keep scheduling your touches, and reaching out to your database. So we've got the content, use it. That's all. Thanks.
Sweet. Vranek, appreciate it. Thank you for pulling it together. Guys, I want to reiterate something that she talked about shortly ago, and it was this. Many, many people have asked, how do I build my database? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And if you aren't belly to belly with people, AKA building relationships in a personal way, the way in which that you can leverage social media in order to capture people's information is the purpose behind how you help build your METs and non-MET databases. And if you think about your non-MET databases, how you articulate what it is that you do or what it is that you may be selling or how you may be serving your clients is a way for you to capture non-METs within your database or capture non-METs within your web. Highly recommend if you need help understanding what it is that you need to do in order to create paid ad campaigns through any social media platform, including now TikTok, reach out to Lindsay. She'd be happy to help you create the vortex of non-MET databases leveraging your social media. Sound good? All right, with that, the station's been busy. Sheriff Reed has been at it. And with that, we have a variety of compliance updates for you that we need to be paying attention to. Now, I want to say this with one caveat before Sheriff Reed comes on. With the environment that we're currently working in, we've said, listen, the situation is fluid and it is ever changing based on the information that we gather from our legal counsel, as well as the information that we gather from the WRA and how the WRA is adapting and evolving to the environment of the market of the moment. So with that, there is some adaptions in the way in which that we will need to pivot some additional forms moving forward. And Sheriff Reed will help be here this morning to help you understand what it is that those are. Sheriff Reed.
Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, things never stay the same in real estate. They're always changing. And now we have some important forms that have been revised. They were revised back in October. They were ready for use in December 1st, and their mandatory use is January 1st. But to step back, it started with obviously the lawsuit through the National Association of Realtors about the lack of transparency regarding commission and commission splits. So WRA jumped into it, created Addendum C, which we wanted to add to our buyer agency contracts and to our listing contracts to explain to our clients, buyer and seller clients, what they're paying for. And then our attorney reviewed it and thought it would be clearer if we split them up so that there was an Addendum CL, Addendum C on the listing side and an Addendum C on the buyer agency side. So they did read clear for you to present to your clients with this change that our Keller Williams attorney recommended. So we said there was going to be fluid, we said there were going to be changes, and here they are. So no longer need to, you can go to the next slide. There no longer need to use the Addendum C or the Addendum CL or the Addendum CBA. Throw them out. We are starting with the new forms, the new listing forms in all of the listing possibilities, and the new buyer agency forms, including residential and rental buyer agency forms, are now going to have that transparency language within the actual form. So we don't need addendum anymore. We're just using the new forms. They're available in zip form now, and as I said, they're mandatory January 1st. The key message that we're trying to get across to our clients, potential clients, is the amount of compensation that may be offered to an agent's firm is negotiable. There is no fixed commission. There could be standard commissions, but there is no fixed commission anywhere in the United States. And the National Association of Realtors wanted to make that clear. Next slide. These are the different forms that will have this revision. As you see, it's all of the listing forms and that we have: vacant land listings, commercial listings, business listings, and then the different buyer agency forms: the regular buyer agency agreement, the residential listing contract to rent, the commercial buyer agency tenant representation agreement, and the tenant representation agreement. So all of those forms are encompassing that new revision with the transparency language in it. So make sure that you are aware of it, make sure that you understand it, and because when you are presenting that form to your possible buyer clients or seller clients, you understand it and you can explain it to them clearly. So any questions about it, you can contact Steph or contact me. Make sure that you understand how to verbalize this and get this rule across to the public that commissions are negotiable. Next slide. Okay, this is just a heads up.
Hey, Joni, real quick, I'm just going to jump in there quick.
Do.
I want to clarify something. The reason why we came out with Addendum CL in November is we were being very proactive on the legal counsel and advice that we were being provided to help mitigate risk. Okay. I understand that 2-3 weeks later, things have now changed, but here's where the things in which the environment that we work in benefits you as an agent. Okay. In the state of Wisconsin, unlike many other states across the US, in the state of Wisconsin, because our forms are controlled by REIB, the Real Estate Examining Board, and they're mandatory, it creates an environment, A, that the state takes on the responsibility in the way in which that the language now is being given to consumers, A. B, the other thing about it is many states did not require these forms in terms of the consumer protection. They were non-mandatory forms. So some of the things that you were seeing and of some of the lawsuit environments of Missouri or Illinois or elsewhere are because these forms weren't required at the state level. They were voluntary forms. in the state of Wisconsin, our environment is that because these are mandatory and because these are controlled by a non-association or basically a government entity, it does create an environment that is far more, again, personal opinion here, full disclosure, personal opinion, an environment that is far more disclosed as it relates to how commissions are negotiable. And because that is controlled by REIB, actually benefits the environment we work in. So as we said, it's a very fluid situation. We're learning how to work with not only protecting and helping you mitigate risk within the firm, but also learning about how it is that we have to operate within the universe, and that these forms will now become standard across your peers, no matter which firm that they work within. Joni, did I capture that properly?
Beautifully. Yeah.
I
and
appreciate it, Sheriff.
It makes it clear when you're working with, especially say buyers from Illinois. It's not a mandatory form in Illinois, a buyer agency form. And you really need to explain it carefully to buyers coming up here from Illinois on the importance of buyer agency and why we do require forms. Okay, well, going on, this was just a one-page heads up. You probably looked at it already, but I wanted to get across and make sure that you're compliant, get across the fact that you really should not be trying to calculate square footage. MLS's profile page has it broken down to square footage area above ground, below ground, all of the different important areas of maintaining square footage. It is a fact that you should get from a reliable source, such as that we have the source codes here listed, an appraiser, a blueprint from a construction, a builder, developer, plat map survey, public record, say the town assessor, town appraiser, or the seller. Note that I have crossed out broker or agent. We don't want to be responsible for trying to calculate or calculating square footage on our listings and entering that into MLS. Make sure that you get it from a reliable, responsible source, or at least from the seller, and let the seller take that responsibility. So any questions about that, give me a call, but it's just something that I wanted to give everybody a heads up and help you be compliant. That's it.
Beautiful. Sheriff Reed, thanks for pouring in. I know the station's been busy the last few weeks, and we appreciate all that you do for our group.
Thank you.
All righty. All right, guys, with that, we're going to wrap it up with trainings and events, but there are some things and ways in which that we're going to pour into you, okay? Last week, Thursday, we hosted an incredible event downtown at the War Memorial. And we started in the morning with Tommy Choi. We hosted a panel with Tommy, Martha, and Rick all around articulating your value. And we finished with Stephanie Minnick, who poured into the group around 14 ways in which that you can activate today to help you find business. Here's what I would share with you on that. I know a lot of people, and I've gotten the feedback that, hey, look, like there's been a lot of stuff going on right now. And you know what I would say to that? Good. You know why? Because many of your peers pack it in between Thanksgiving and Christmas when they're hanging out, doing whatever it is that they want to do. And you know how I know that? 80% of the industry rides this roller coaster of income. And so one of the things that I said last week is we are going to will you into productivity into 2024. We will pull you along the journey. And the beautiful thing about last week, Thursday, what I appreciated the most, not only was the content I thought incredibly on point, and the panel of your peers that gave back was in an incredible way. Those that attended, we recapped in 4 pages of notes and sent that to you yesterday. You should have gotten an email from Kathleen. From those of you that didn't attend, I'm sorry that you weren't able to carve out the time. That's cool. Here's what I'm getting at. I'm going to be doing these series once a quarter in 2024, and we're going to call it My Locker Room. And for those of you that weren't there on Thursday, My Locker Room probably makes no sense. For those of you that were there on Thursday, My Locker Room makes a ton of sense. So stay tuned for more information as we look to pour into you in 2024 to give you ways in which that you can be more productive today than you were yesterday. Make sense? And if you attended the event, check out Kathleen's email where we recapped and transcribed everything that was discussed so that you could glean the most important and pertinent information from the discussion. Cool? Beautiful. Now, I'm flipping it over to Kadi because Kadi is going to lean into a panel of your peers to help you guys identify what it is that they took away from a very important event that they just participated in. Connie or Cotty?
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to talk about Bold. We wrapped our 7 weeks of Bold last week. We had a group of 115 of you all who were asked to amp up your activities, making 100 contacts a week, sometimes 100 contacts a day, discover and set powerful goals and hold each other extremely accountable. You were challenged with eating only Costco nuts and Sun Chips every Wednesday for 7 weeks in a row. You know. But in all honesty, you were committing to self-mastery and you were making a shift in both your action and in your mindset. So the results of that were we had 7 weeks, we had 115 agents comprising 16 teams, and together this group achieved 208 new listing agreements, 672 buyer agencies, 352 units under contract. That was an average of 13 listing agreements, 42 buyers, and 22 units on average per team. Incredible. Charlie, if you want to go to the next slide, we're going to give them a, oh, there you all are, looking exhausted after week 7. Go ahead to the next slide. I want to show a quick video inside the Bold graduation. All right, so first of all, I want to congratulate all 115 of you that completed Bold. It is a huge task, a huge ask. The biggest thing we asked you to do this year was to be present in the room. We asked you to really ultimately create a life by design and not by default. So I convinced 5 of you graduates to pour into our group here this morning. And we're really just going to ask 2 questions. Bold is all about making 2 changes, right? A shift in mindset and a shift in action. So I'm going to ask each of these 5 agents to talk about just 2 simple things. We are what we decide we will be. We do what we decide we will do, and we ultimately become our choices. So I'm going to ask this group of 5, what is one mindset shift that has caused them to change their approach in 2024? And what is one action item that they took away from Bold that they're going to implement in 2024? So I'm going to go ahead and start with Steph Miller, who's on and going to join us from my office.
Hello.
Steph, tell me what's one mindset shift that has caused you to change your approach moving here into 2024?
I think that the amount of uncertainty and even somewhat fear in the real estate industry that's kind of happening around the country, people are, at least whom I've spoken with, are coming from this place of uncertainty and, not knowing how they're going to continue their income. And one of the Bold laws that I really tried to adopt was just to shift my mind to that of a mindset of abundance and not worry about what I can't control and focus on what I can control. And that's, my lead gen, the daily habits that, were really reinforced through Bold, and just know that I will be fine and I'm going to make it work and I'm going to continue this career.
Love that mindset set of abundance. What is one action item that you took away from Bold that you're going to implement next year?
Automation. I know Charlie's been saying that for years, and with, trying to stay on top of my database and try to really set up the drip campaigns and the 36 touch, the more automation in my business versus relying on my memory to contact people. So
Awesome.
yeah, my
Thank
database.
you. Thank you, Steph.
Yeah.
Next, I'm gonna switch it
you.
over to Catherine Egelhoff. She came down the stairs Bold Week when there were all the balloons, and I swear she almost turned around and walked back up the stairs, but I made eye contact with her and she couldn't. She admitted to me, she said, Mandy, I came in, was not signing up. I did it. Okay, here I am. And she had one of the, I thought, most powerful for me takeaways on the last day of Bold, talking about her mindset. So Catherine, if you're on, can you share with us what's one mindset shift that has caused you to change your approach moving into 2024?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm 3 times Bold, and every year, I go into it kind of searching for what I need, whether it's from a business perspective or a personal perspective. And on the first day of Bold, whoever was there knows that we did that exercise with the 3 circles where you rate where you are in your life, where you are in your business, and then that total number kind of defines where you are in terms of a percentage. And so very vulnerable of me, but I rated my life at a 5, even though I like have a really great life. I just felt like my mindset and my how I showed up every day wasn't the 10 out of 10 that I want to be. I rated my business at a 7. I felt like, you know, in a down market, I was doing really well, meeting my goals. But then when I looked at that total 35%, I was like, shoot, I need to take this opportunity during Bold. And I know the activities that we have to do, like I've done Bold before, so I know how to achieve the weekly expectation. But what I really needed to do was focus on my personal life and making sure that I was pouring into myself just as much as I was pouring into my business. And I think we can all fall into that trap of, where's my next deal going to come from? If I don't work today, am I going to ever make another dollar? Or, you know, that spiral. And we always make it out, right? But that was really eye-opening for me on the first day of Bold. So I took the opportunity of Bold to really not only pour into my business, but really making sure I was prioritizing myself by, you know, exercising, spending more time with friends and family, just doing things I enjoyed, turning off my phone at the end of the night, just very simple things that helped me at the end. And I said, believe it or not, the last day of Bold, I was more positive than I had been all year. And I know I ooze positivity, but it was an eye-opening experience. So
Good, thank you. What's one action item that you took away from Bold you're going to implement next year?
lead generation is always a big focus of mine. And so during that section of Bold, I really want to focus my lead gen based on my biggest sources of business from this past year. So really making sure that all of my efforts are based on, you know, pouring into my sphere, pouring into the people that my sphere people know, because referrals from my sphere are big. And then a newer source for me was leads from my listings. So how can I capitalize on that? So those are pretty tangible, actionable items that I'm going to make sure that I'm very efficient with my time and focusing my lead generation on those 3 buckets so that I can be successful next year.
Thanks, Catherine, for sharing and being vulnerable. I think a lot of people can agree with you on a lot of that, so appreciate it.
Welcome. Thank you.
Next, I'm going to flip over to Vershay, who's newer in the business and joining us here on the call. Vershay, what is one mindset shift that caused you to change your approach in 2024?
Good morning.
Morning.
I would definitely say, as far as mindset, 1% better was something that really stuck with me. Sorry, I got like blind lines. But yeah, 1% better is really huge, because a lot of the times we think we have to go above and beyond, which we do, but sometimes that can be those little itty bitty. And for me before Bold, this was my first time attending Bold. And for me before Bold, it was more so like one day at a time approach. And the 1% better just kind of symbolizes that and puts things into perspective. So that's something that I'll definitely be taking with me past the Bold.
Awesome. Thank you. A little more digestible than sometimes trying to skip ahead, just 1% better. What's one action item you took away from Bold that you're going to implement in your business?
One action item, same with Catherine as far as lead generation, but I do think more specifically, I love the DTD2 system. I've heard about it a couple of times, but it was very, like, again, I think Bo was just able to kind of like simplify and put a lot of things into perspective. So really just taking that system, calling 2 letters of the alphabet a week and texting 1 letter of the alphabet a week, it makes it, you know, just easier, and it's a way for you to track your systems, rather if you're putting it in command or if you're making sure to do it personally as well. So that'll be something that I'm definitely going to implement into the new year.
Great. Thank you so much. What I'm hearing a lot of you saying is success is simple, not easy. A lot of our little boldisms you'll hear us all repeating. Thank you, Vershay, for sharing. Christiane, I'm going to invite you up to join us next. Christiane joined Keller Williams last year, and I texted with her yesterday. I don't know if she knew this, but her business is up over 250% this year in a market that is down. And when Charlie talks all the time about the world being run by those that show up, she is here every single day, and was on the team in Bold that actually their entire team was the only team that had perfect attendance every single day. So Christiane, I'm going to have you start by sharing what's one mindset shift that you're going to be taking into next year.
Okay, so I would say my main mindset shift is to be positive. You just keep hearing everything is down, the buyers are disappearing, there aren't any listings out there, but I find just keep a upbeat approach about it, because there are buyers out there and there are listings out there, and you just have to bring them together and just keep working at it. So don't let all the negativity that's out there bring you down. Just keep a upbeat approach to it. That was my main mindset shift.
Thank you. And one action item.
Organization.
What does that mean for you?
It meant going through my database, cleaning it all up, actually implementing the smart plans that I hear about all the time. I've always gone by feel, like, oh, I think it's time to contact so-and-so, or I should follow up on this. And it's always just been just sort of an organic feel to it. I need more systematic approach to it.
Great.
And I've got that going.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Automation again. Love it. All right, and last but certainly not least, we're headed out to Lake Country. I want to chat with Leanne Pluster, who has a big team out there. Leanne, if you can jump on and share with us, what's one mindset shift that has caused you to change your approach moving into 24?
Absolutely. So for me, it was the earning potential is boundless mind shift. We did this activity where we tried to see if we could spend $1 million. And guess what? You absolutely can spend $1 million if you could make $1 million per year. You know, I think the mind shift of clients they're coming to me, they want to talk to me. I think that was really enlightening for me, especially in a down market, and to just not give into the fear that you're bothering people and to just go for it, because a lot of people do want to hear from you.
Excellent. Thank you. And what's one action item that you took away from Bold?
For me, it was the testimonial day. We do have a process for testimonials, and our response is it's terrible. And so I've already executed an amazing idea I heard during Bold Day. I actually just received it in the mail last night, and I was super excited to open it. So I cannot wait to get going with it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the other 110 of you that were in the Bold room. I hope you got as much out of it as these 5 ladies. Enjoy a well-rounded lunch tomorrow on Wednesday for the first time in 7 weeks. Charlie, I'll switch it back over to you. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. Appreciate it.
Sweet. Guys, the reason why we did this, and you heard from 5 people, not 2 people, 5 people, not 3 people, is repetitive action, and diversity of thought and diversity of approach is powerful. It's the power of the Bold room. And I think what you heard was people who are really successful, like Steph Miller is really successful, Leanne, really successful, Catherine, really successful, Christiane, really successful. And they all came away with something implementable from either their mindset or their actions. And I wanted them to share that with you, because I always know that the power of sharing and learning through others who are going through similar things may help other people. So guys, I want to thank you for doing that. And as I've always said, like, embracing the suck of Bold, here's why we do it. That group right there did this. Pretty simple. That group right there did this. And so hats off to the 115 who participated over the last 7 weeks, and looking forward to everybody's continued success in Q1 of 2024. All right, December training calendar here. We're kind of starting to get to a wrap up of year end. As you can see here, this is what we got coming up. One thing to highlight, tomorrow at 10 a.m., Nikki, the team leader out in Lake Country, will be helping lead a panelist of Paul Nicklick, Karen Trimble, and Dan Schmidt, all around negotiating the shifting tides, masterminding sellers' expectations in today's landscape. This came from a conversation that Dan Wild shared with me around how we help set up expectations, because we've noticed a lot of expireds and price reductions. So Nikki will be pouring into Paul, Karen, and Dan to get their diversity of thought, diversity of approach out into the universe to help you guys. So that is tomorrow at 10 a.m. via Zoom. Outside of that, Ignite is starting in January, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday in January over in the North Shore. I will tell you this, 80% of people don't make it to year 2. And we have an inverse of that trend. Those that attend Ignite and those that attend the classes have an 80% likelihood that they will make it to year 2. It's an incredible panel of your peers that are pouring into you for you to learn what it is that they do in order to be successful. Really incredible group. If you haven't registered, I'd highly recommend it. Cool. Lastly, we've talked about it for a little while, but family reunion's coming up in Vegas in February of 24. Join the already 72 people from Southeastern Wisconsin who have already registered. We're looking forward to a great, productive environment in Vegas in February of 24. With that, guys, it's a beautiful day in Milwaukee. Have a great, great day. Thank you for showing up. Look forward to next week, where I will dive more into our insights as to what went on this year and what do I foresee happening in the next year. Guys, make it a great day. Thanks for showing up.